So your Agile Methods final is just around the corner, and I know extreme programming is a huge topic. Feeling a little stressed? Hey, don't be. Think of this as your personal study session. We're going to cut right through all the noise and focus on exactly what you need to know to nail this thing. You've been sitting through lectures for weeks, but now it's crunch time. And if you're looking at a huge pile of notes wondering, what is actually going to be on the exam? Well, you are in exactly the right place. We're about to boil it all down.
All right, let's get to it. We're going to zero in on the core concepts, the key practices, and all those little details that are going to make a huge difference on your exam. I promise, by the end of this, you are going to have a rock-solid grasp of XP.
First things first, what even is extreme programming or XP when you get right down to it? I know, the name sounds pretty intense, but the main idea is actually really simple and powerful. It's all about a totally different way of thinking about building software.
Okay, screenshot this. Memorize it. Seriously, if you need a perfect one-sentence definition for your exam, this is your golden ticket. See, the real magic of XP isn't about avoiding change. It's about building a system that actually welcomes it. The keywords you absolutely have to burn into your memory: high quality, feedback, collaboration, and adaptation.
This quote, this really gets to the soul of the XP mindset. Just think about it for a second. Most teams absolutely dread getting a last-minute change request. But an XP team, they don't just put up with change. They literally plan for it. It stops being some kind of emergency and just becomes, part of the job.
Okay, so how does this all work in the real world? Let's take a walk through the life cycle of a typical XP project. Understanding this flow is going to be clutch for seeing how all the different parts connect. It's a 5-step cycle.
Now, the most important thing to get here is that this is a continuous loop, right? It all kicks off with planning, where the customer's needs get turned into these simple user stories. Then we move to design, but here's the twist. You keep it simple. Only design what you need right now. Next up is coding, and this is where you see cool stuff like pair programming. Testing isn't some phase at the end. It's happening all the time. And all of that leads to the most critical step of all, listening. This is where the team gets that crucial feedback from the customer, which feeds right back into the next planning meeting, and the whole cycle starts over again, but better every time.
All right, now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, the actual toolkit that makes XP tick. These are the primary practices, and for your exam, trust me, it's way easier if you remember them in these 4 neat categories.
First up, the programming practices. So test-driven development, or TDD, is a total game changer. It completely flips the usual script. You actually write a failing test before you write a single line of code. This forces you to be crystal clear about what the code is supposed to do. And then you've got pair programming. Now, this isn't just one person coding while another one watches. No way. It's a constant conversation, like a real-time code review that catches bugs the second they happen and helps everyone on the team get smarter. So, your developers are writing amazing, high-quality code. But how do you make sure it all actually, fits together? That's where the integration practices come in. The name of the game is speed. The 10-minute build means the entire system can be put together and tested in less time than it takes to make a cup of coffee. That super fast feedback is what makes continuous integration possible. Instead of this big, painful merge at the end of the project that takes a week, everyone merges their code multiple times a day. You find problems when they're tiny and super easy to fix.
Okay, so how do XP teams actually plan all this work? Well, you can think of it like they're operating on 2 different clocks at the same time. The weekly cycle is that super fast 1-week sprint where they're delivering working software. But then they have the quarterly cycle to kind of step back and look at the big picture. And this one's my favorite, Slack. They literally schedule low-priority tasks into each week that they know can be dropped if something more important pops up. It's like a built-in pressure release valve. So smart.
And finally, we have to talk about the team's environment. The idea is really simple. Have the team sit together. When everyone's in the same physical space, information just flows. It spreads almost like osmosis. One person asks a question and someone else overhears and has the answer. And the workspace itself becomes a tool. An informative workspace uses big, visible charts, sometimes people call them information radiators, to show progress. So anyone from a developer to the CEO can just walk by and get the health of the project in a single glance.
Pay attention here, because this is a classic exam question. What's the difference between XP and Scrum? They're both agile, yeah, but their main focus is different. Here's how to think about it. Scrum is all about project management. What can we get done and by when? XP, on the other hand, is all about technical excellence. How can we write the code so well that making changes becomes easy and safe? So we've covered all the practices, the what and the how of XP. But none of that stuff works if you don't have the right mindset. So now let's look at the core values, the why that makes everything else click into place.
And here they are, the 5 core values. Communication is all about having constant, open, and honest conversations. Simplicity is basically the art of always asking, what is the absolute simplest thing that could possibly work? And then just doing that. Feedback, both from your tests and your customers, is the total lifeblood of the project. Courage is a big one. It's having the guts to throw away code that's not working or to speak up when you know something's wrong. And finally, respect. It is the foundation. Because without respect for everyone on the team, from the customer to the newest developer, none of these other values even have a chance to work.
Whew, okay, we have covered a ton of ground, so let's bring it all home with a final cheat sheet. If you're doing some last-minute cramming, this next slide is going to be your best friend. These are the non-negotiable, must-know concepts.
All right, let's lock these in one last time. TDD, test first, then code. Pair programming, 2 heads, way better code. Continuous integration, integrate early and integrate often. And the big one, the whole mindset, embracing change. Don't just deal with feedback, go out and ask for it. These are your heavy hitters.
So as you wrap up your studying, I want to leave you with one last thought. We've been talking about XP for software, right? But this core idea, embracing change, it applies to everything. Instead of dreading feedback on a term paper or a class project, what if you went looking for it, early and often? How much better could your own work be? Just something to think about. Good luck on your final. You're going to do great.